recording this. In fact, let me start that right now. For anybody that wants to go back and kind of watch what they did here today, if you needed any, additional instruction, maybe we went over something too fast, or if you want to share this out to anybody else that didn't attend today, definitely feel free. We'll send this link out later on here. But welcome. If this is your first Penn State Creates, just to kind of introduce ourselves, we are TLT, so Teaching, Learning with Technology. Most specifically, we are the Creative Learning Initiatives team. So that includes things like the Media Commons, the Maker Commons, maybe you've been to the Dreamery at University Park. We are also available with those services on every campus at Penn State. My name is Marcus. I work for the emerging tech team. So we look at different emerging technology out there and how it can be used in the classroom for teaching and learning. So today for Penn State Creates, again, if this is your first time attending, these are meant to be just kind of fun ways that you can create with technology that's available to you now, even in kind of this remote environment. If this is not your first time attending, welcome back. I did want to say, for anybody that's really been attending a lot of these, this is a session that we have done before. So if you had already previously joined a session for making Zoom backgrounds, this will be a repeat of that session. So I did just want to mention that up front in case you've already attended this one. Other than that, get ready for the actual instruction here. We are going to be using a program called Adobe Rush. Before I pass it over to Zach, who will then kind of explain how we're going to be using it. It is available on multiple devices. So it is on mobile, it's on tablets, it is on PC, desktop, so on. The way we are going to present it, the way Zach's going to present it, is on his mobile device. That doesn't mean you can't use other devices, because you definitely can. But some things may look slightly different than it does on your screen. So if you're using an iPad, if you're using your laptop, most of the features are there, with the exception of you can't record video directly on your laptop. But sometimes buttons and things will look a little different. Because he's using a mobile device, there may be a small button icon, whereas on a different device, it may actually spell out what we're doing. We're going to do our best to point out those differences so that depending on what you're using, we should be able to help you out with anything. If we don't address something, feel free to ask any questions you have in the chat. So we do kind of ask people stay muted during the presentation, but we have moderators here, so please ask any questions you have in the chat, and we'll also have time at the end of this to unmute and share and ask additional questions. All right, so with that, I'm going to pass it over to Zach, who's going to kind of first show what we're going to be making and then kind of walk you through it.
Thank you very much, Marcus. So welcome everybody, and thank you for coming to today's Penn State Create session. Today we're going to be working, as Marcus mentioned, and okay, I'm in a meeting right now, go away. Okay, sorry about that. That was myself coming to interrupt myself. That guy just never gives me a break. So today we're going to be making a video similar to what you just saw right now. So I'm using a green screen effect, which you can do pretty easily right in Zoom. And to achieve the effect that I have right now, we're going to create a video similar to what I did using Adobe Premiere Rush. And we're going to create it all on our mobile devices. You can also do it on your computer if you don't have a mobile device handy. As Marcus mentioned, it may look a little bit differently to what we've been doing, but it will work. I'm going to be working off my iPad, but I also have my iPhone here too. That I'll be switching back and forth. I may switch my screen sharing back and forth just to show you the interfaces, depending how things go. But yeah, let's jump right into this now. I'm going to turn off my virtual background for now, just so it's not distracting while I'm teaching. All right, and now I'm going to share my screen. All right, so you should be seeing my iPad screen now. So the first step we're gonna do, if you have your iOS device, your Android device, an iPad, tablet, we're just gonna go ahead and open up Rush. So if this is your first time opening up Rush, you will not see what I'm seeing. Chances are, if this is your first time, you'll need to sign in with your Penn State Adobe account. So I'm gonna give you a couple minutes to do that, maybe 1 or 2. Also, if this is your first time signing in, you'll also be prompted with Adobe Rush tutorial. We're just gonna go ahead and skip that tutorial. And then once you skip the tutorial, you'll need to close an import screen. Actually, let me just jump in. Let me just choose one of these to show you. So once you close the tutorial and then close the import screen, on the top left-hand corner, or maybe if you're on a phone, you're gonna wanna find this little house icon up here. And then if you click that house icon, you should get to the same screen that I'm sharing. Obviously, you won't see the projects that I have on my screen. Chances are, if it's your first time opening it, it will be blank. But I'm just gonna give everybody another maybe 30 seconds to get signed in, skip the tutorial, and get back to this screen that I'm sharing.
While you're waiting at 30 seconds, Zach, I'll just mention that I did link in the chat. If anybody is having difficulty getting Adobe Rush on their device, just go to the Epic Zoom background instructions. You can find a list of where to get Adobe Rush requirements, and there's also a link to sign up for Adobe Creative Cloud if you don't have that already.
Awesome, thanks, Marcus. And while we're in chat, I'm just gonna drop in another link here. So this is a link we'll need later on, but it will be here. Just, why is it not copying and pasting? Oh. There we go. All right, so that should be enough time here. I'm going to go ahead and get started. So the first step we're gonna do, the little plus icon down here at the bottom of my screen, we're gonna click the plus icon. So clicking this plus icon will allow you to create a new project. There's 2 options here once we click the plus icon, add media and take video or photo. We're going to click take video or photo because we're gonna do all of the recording directly on our mobile device. If you click add media, I'm gonna go ahead and click that just to show you what it looks like, but you don't need to do that. Basically, it will pull up your camera roll, and you can choose any of the media you want from the camera roll, which will then dump all of that content onto your timeline. You can also search your Creative Cloud over here on the left, or your Dropbox if you have that link dump. But we're gonna go back here to the main thing, hit that plus icon, and then we're gonna select take video or photo. Okay, so from right here, this is gonna activate the camera app or the capture tool that is built right into Adobe Rush. So my camera is facing towards me. If yours is facing away from you, you can easily switch that around by clicking the little camera icon with 2 circular arrows. For my screen, it's up here in the top right-hand corner. If you're working on a smartphone, it may be in the bottom left-hand corner or somewhere else. But if you click that, you'll see it switches around. We can click that again. It also switches around too.
Also, Zach, this is one of those areas where if you're on desktop, you do not have this exact feature, correct?
That is correct. The desktop Adobe Premiere Rush app does not actually have the capture tool built in. So if you are working directly from your computer, you'll want to record on a smartphone these couple of clips we're going to record and then import them to your computer to work with. Another toggle that you might see on mine but not on yours is all these options down here at the bottom. So I have them activated on mine. If you don't see them, you'll probably need to click this toggle up here. I'm actually going to turn them off because we want to shoot on auto mode. But if you're looking to shoot and do more of a custom manual, change all of the manual controls of your video, This will allow you to actually change the exposure, change the white balance. You can also do a zoom, and you can also change resolution and the frame rate. So you can get pretty custom with the capture tool built right in here. But that's a little too much to what we're going to do today. So I'm going to turn that back to auto. And then we're going to start recording here soon. But before we record, we want to think about the video that we want to record, or what story we want to tell. So as you saw on my virtual background before we jumped into the Premiere Rush app, I had a door behind me. It was actually this door right here. I came in, I interrupted myself. I'm going to show you one more, or maybe two more, just to get you a couple ideas of what we can do. Choose virtual background. So here's another one that I did earlier. So you can see I kind of just come up right off the screen for me. And then I walk over there and I interrupt myself again. So it doesn't have to be you coming through a door interrupting yourself. You can just pop off the screen here. I've seen other ones where their kids came in and interrupted them. If you want to get super complex, we won't be going over these features today, but this is essentially a simple mask tool where you can actually be on the screen multiple times at once. And you can do all these edits right in Adobe Premiere Rush too. And as you can see, there's no sound in any of these videos. So when we go back over to Adobe Premiere Rush, don't worry about any of the sound. If you have background noise, we're going to cut all of that out. Zoom will actually not take a video with sound, or if you do have sound in a video that you import into Zoom, it'll actually cut that sound out. So don't worry about the sound. It is not important. All right, so those are a couple of examples of what we can do today. I'm going to turn this off now and go back into sharing my iPad. Okay, so here we are. So I'm going to walk through the process of recording these clips. Feel free to just watch what I do. As I record the clips, in the bottom right-hand corner of my screen, you're going to see a white check mark with a number counting up. So every time I record a clip, it'll be 1. If I do 2 clips, it'll be 2, 3 clips, 3, and so on. We're going to focus on today between 1 and 3 clips. We don't want to shoot any more than that, or your edits are going to be pretty complex. We're going to focus more on simple cuts and simple editing just for today's feature. But to get started, I'm going to prop this up a little bit just so I have the same angle that my computer would have. I'm going to push my chair out of the way just so it's not in frame. And once I press the record button, I'm going to walk off screen just momentarily. I'm going to give it a couple seconds and then I'm going to start acting out sort of what I have in mind. So go ahead and hit record here. All right, as you can see in the bottom right-hand corner, I have a check mark now with the number 1. So I'm going to record one more clip just so you can see what it looks like working with 2 clips. So I'll hit the record button here. And all right, and now we have 2 clips. All right, so you notice after I recorded them, I didn't come back and hit stop right away. Now I'm out of breath because that is a lot of work. So I didn't come back and hit stop right away. I waited just to give myself some time at the end of my cuts. And then once we're done, we're going to hit the white check mark down here. and that will prepare our media. So now I'm just gonna let this save just like this. And we're gonna put a timer on for everyone to kind of do what you wanna do, shoot your own video. I am really out of breath. Those crab shots really took out of me. All right, so I'm gonna stop sharing my screen. I'm gonna put a timer on for 3 minutes. So now take 3 minutes, think about what you wanna do, record your 1 to 3 clips, and then once the timer's up, we'll go into the simple edits.
All right, so everyone can go record that stuff. You can obviously turn off your camera on Zoom, and much like Zach did, don't worry about running off screen quickly. We're going to cut out that extra stuff after you press the button and so on. So we'll come back in 3 minutes. All right, about 40 seconds left. And remember, once you've finished recording, you're just going to click on that check arrow with the number of clips that you recorded. That'll take you to the screen you're going to be at for the next part. And we are back. All right, Zach, go ahead and bring up your screen and we'll come back to you.
Awesome, so we are back. So once you're done recording, and if you hit the white check mark down there, it should prepare your media, and then you should see a screen similar to this. So if you're on a tablet, like an iPad, you'll see something similar to mine. If you're on a smartphone, you may need to shoot in, or you may need to turn that in portrait mode just so you see everything all at once. So now this is where we're gonna make a couple simple cuts just to get the video to where we want it to be imported into Zoom. So in order to do that, we need to cut out the beginning of our clips and the end of our clips, just so we don't have ourselves walking out of frame and then starting the video. So in order to do that, we're just gonna perform a few simple basic cuts, and we're gonna do all of that basically just by dragging our finger down here and doing the cuts. So as you can see, I'm holding my finger where you see this blue circle, and this will allow me to drag my clips. So that long blue line you see, that's going to be called our playhead. So wherever we position that, that is where we're going to make the cut. So I'm going to drag this just until I walk out of frame, which is right about there. And now I'm going to hold my finger on the orange thick bar at the beginning, and I'm just going to drag this clip to meet the blue line. And voila, we made our first cut. So now if we play this, you can see that I'm no longer in the beginning of my clip. And the first thing you'll see is Crab Me coming on. So now that I'm playing this, oh, there I am. So now that I played that, I realized that's actually a little too long. I want to trim off maybe 5 more seconds. So we're going to just trim down. Okay, there I am. So I'm going to come back to here. I wanted to start maybe right here. So I don't need all this dead space. So same thing, drag the clip to the playhead. Boom, we made another cut. We're also going to cut out the end of our clips too, because we don't want ourselves coming back in to stop it. So right about there looks good. Same thing that we did in the beginning, hold our finger on this orange line at the end and then drag it to meet the blue playhead. Voila. So I'm gonna do the same thing I did for my second clip. So now that I'm on this second clip, and to switch clips, it's as easy as tapping on them. So now I'm on this clip. So now I'm gonna drag to see where I'm right off screen, right about, so this looks good right here. Drag this orange line to meet the playhead. Voila. Now I'm gonna cut off the end of my clip. And we're done. So at the simplest, we could be done right now. What I wanna do though, is I actually wanna cut off the audio to our clips. We could keep the audio on here. It would, if we cut the audio, our video file or our file at the end will actually be a smaller file. So it'll be easier for us to move from our mobile device to our computer. It'll be easier for Zoom to import just because it'll be smaller. So a couple of ways to do that, but the way I'm gonna do it is I'm gonna hold my finger on each clip and then you'll see it kind of pulse. So once it pulses, release, then you'll get this pop-up menu here. What we're gonna do is we're gonna separate the audio from the clip. And what that does is it extracts the audio and puts it on a different line. If you want to see where that audio actually sits, over here on the left-hand side, you have all these tools or icons. We're gonna click this one right here. If you're on a phone, it may be at the bottom of your screen. So depending on the device, if we click that, that will actually show you all of your timelines. So you can see our video is on the main video timeline. The 3 smaller timelines below that are gonna be for audio clips. And the 3 timelines above our video will be for secondary videos or graphics if we decide we want to put those on there. But I don't really need to see the timeline for this, so I'm just going to click that button again and turn that off. So that kind of simplifies our interface. So to delete this audio, we're going to do the same thing we did for the video. We're going to hold the audio clip until it pulsates, and then the pop-up menu will come up and just click delete. Voila. And we're going to do that for right here too. So boom, separate audio, hold on the audio and click delete. So there we go. So now we have a simple video ready for export that we can export to our device and then move to our computer to import into Zoom. So how do we export from Adobe Premiere Rush? So depending on the device you're on, since I'm on an iPad, the iPad will look similar to the desktop client. So up here, there's actually the word that says share. So I'm going to click the word share, and it will bring me to this screen. If you're on a smartphone, you actually won't see the word share. What you'll see, I believe, is in the top right-hand corner. It's a square icon with an arrow point coming up through the bottom. That's the share icon. So if you click that on your smartphone, you'll get to a screen that looks very similar to what I'm seeing right now. And then from here, it's as easy as clicking export. And it's rendering. If we cut out the audio and you only focused on 1 to 2 clips, 3 clips wouldn't be that much either, so it should be done. So right now, I got a notification saying it saved to my camera roll. So now what we want to do is we want to export this or transfer this from our device to our computer. And there's a couple ways to do that. The way I'm going to do it is I'm going to airdrop it from my mobile device, which is an iPad, to my computer, which is a Mac. If you're working on Apple products, that is probably the easiest way to do it. It's as easy as going in your camera roll, choosing your video, clicking share, and then clicking airdrop. That will basically be an instant share right to your device. If you're not working on Apple devices, I would recommend either using Box or Google Drive. So if you have those apps on your mobile device, save your file to one of those storage solutions. Once it saves, go to your computer in that same spot and then download it down. There's many ways to do this, but those are the 3 that I would focus on now.
Yeah, the one that I'll mention that maybe you move to use to send documents around, email, does not work for this because the video file is too large. Yeah, Zach, do you want to show, because from within Rush, you can't directly put it on something like Google Drive, right? So it saves it to the device first. Do you want to show how to access that quick and how you can tell it where to then send it, whether it's AirDrop or Drive or Box or whatever?
Yeah, so right now, I'm on my Photos app on the iPad. I'm still sharing my screen. Unfortunately, what you can't see is all of the icons that I have on the top of my video. So you're only seeing the video sharing, but up here to the top, I have a square icon with an arrow coming out of it. That's going to be the share icon. So I just click that icon. Again, it's not showing on my screen share, but it brought up a pop-up window that will allow me to click my computer. So that's the airdrop. So I click the computer and boom, it's now on my computer. However, if I wanted to save it, say, to, I can save it to Teams on here. I have a Dropbox option, a OneDrive option, or I can also save it to Box and Drive. I can do that right from my Photos app too. I'm looking at it, I can see it. Let me see if I can show you on my. So if you're looking at my screen, you can see the sharing icons right there. Whatever device you're using, you're probably familiar with a file transfer storage protocol that you're comfortable with. I would use that one, whatever is more comfortable to you. All right, so I'm going to stop sharing now on here. So now we're almost done. We created our short video. We exported it from our mobile device to our computer. So now we're going to be working mainly in Zoom. So we're going to go back to those instructions that I shared early on. It's a resource our team created to basically how to use Zoom virtual backgrounds. In short, a quick and easy way to do it is looking at your Zoom window. In the bottom left-hand corner, you have 2 icons, a microphone and a video. For everyone, it probably says unmute and start video. So on the start video, we're going to click the white arrow right next to the camera icon, and then a pop-up menu will come up that says choose virtual background. So once we get to choose virtual background, you might have a couple default backgrounds there. To upload new ones, there should be a plus icon inside a square over on the right-hand side of that pop-up window. That once you hover over it, it says add image or video. If we click that and click add video, and then we want to navigate over to where our video is saved. So when I airdropped it, it saved to my downloads folder. I'm going to click open, and here we go. I have my video now as my background. What? There's a crab over there. And that is Penn State Creates Epic Zoom Video Backgrounds.
All right, thanks, Zach. So as I mentioned at the beginning here, we are recording this. So if you want to share this out to anybody, if you want to go back through any of the instructions, we will send that link out. If there are any questions, feel free to unmute now and you can ask. And if not, you can also set up your video to share if you would like to. But if there's no questions, then that is kind of it for us today. We will be doing another Penn State Creates, I believe, in 2 weeks. So you should get more information on that. Check the website, or you will also get an email letting you know what we plan. I believe we have planned through the end of July. So we should have a couple more of these before we get into the fall semester here. But just wanted to thank everybody for attending. Thanks to Zach for presenting on this again. And I'll open it up to see if there's any questions.
Penn State Creates.
Yeah, I am not having any luck finding that. I don't know if it's a different version of Zoom now. It just doesn't show up as an option in there.
Trace, are you talking about the choosing virtual background option?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that's interesting, Trace, because you're in as a co-host, which show is Lauren, and hers seems to be working. I'm not. Is your
there was actually, I think I know the permission or the answer to this. There was a Penn State did kind of reset all settings for everyone. So let me see if I can find the link to this. Essentially, there's you have to, if you're missing a setting, you have to go turn it back on, Trace. I don't think it took it out for everybody, but I believe that would do it. Let me see if I can find the link.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Because it is a Penn State thing where you have to adjust your Zoom settings.
I know there was an update that, like, if people weren't updated to it, it messed up everything. So it's possible.
Yeah, and I think I was one of the people, but it's been a while.
It wouldn't surprise me because sometimes this computer gets updated on a different schedule than you guys.
So I don't have the answer for you right now, Trace, but it's something like that.
Okay, no worries.
Anything else? All right, thanks everyone for coming, and hopefully we'll see you next time.
Thank you, everybody.